Hey friend, welcome back to my channel, The Mrs. Vargas. I'm Angel, mama of 3, former nurse, and your go-to girl for real life homeschooling, budget meals, and mom life that actually is doable. If you're into honest talk, practical tips, and a little chaos with your coffee, hello, you're in the right place. This homeschool year nearly broke me, and then it made me better. Today I'm sharing what worked, what didn't, and the surprising lessons we're taking into next year. Whether you're a veteran homeschool mom or just homeschool curious, I promise you'll walk away with real, honest encouragement. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about what worked this year. So this year we did do a version of morning baskets. In our morning baskets was our read aloud, our spelling, handwriting, and Bible study. And then we would watch World Watch. So those were the first things in the morning. What worked? Let's see. Spelling and handwriting worked, however we are changing it up this year. I think that I found a book that's a little bit more fun. It has some coloring in it, so I think it'll keep the kids engaged a little bit more. And then we have switched over to a new curriculum. So that curriculum includes spelling with it instead of having its own spelling book. So I think that having the spelling in morning basket did not work for us. Just because it was an extra task that the kids felt like was monotonous. So we're getting rid of that. We're getting it in our new curriculum. The spelling will still be there. We will still get spelling. However, it'll just be in the new curriculum. I found that our mornings are best when we watch World Watch first. I think it gets our brains going a little bit. It gets our discussions going better. And so it just flows into the next thing better. So that is what is working good so far for morning basket.
The future inconvenience. Carefully heating and shaping the glass, they create intricate designs that go far beyond your typical open sign. Dancing cows, glowing dragons, botanical statues. These pieces help illuminate the beauty of neon.
The next thing that has been working really well for us in homeschooling is one-on-one time. So that means that I work one-on-one with one of my children while the other one is doing either independent work or having some quiet time work. And quiet time work could be working on Night Zookeeper, which is a great app for English and language arts, and you can find that link down in my description if you're interested in that. But it is great. It's like a game that my kids don't even realize that they're learning language arts. They're writing stories, they're learning descriptive and persuasive writing. There's a lot of different things in Night Zookeeper. So having that one-on-one time and then having your other kid do some independent work or working on like an educational game is probably one of the better things that have been working for us. Another thing that's been working really well for us is just getting flexible over perfection. Like, we are not here to perfect everything. Some weeks we did science in the kitchen while we cooked dinner, or we did science outside. My husband did a few science experiments outside with the kids, and that was awesome. All right, so we talked about the few things that have been working well for us. So number 1 was baskets, starting World Watch early in the morning, getting that discussion going, getting our brain going, that one-on-one time, and just being flexible. Not perfect, flexible. Not everything has to be perfect, right? So let's move into what we're leaving behind next year. So overscheduling, that was a big one. I feel like this was our first year like dive deeping into homeschooling, and so I feel like I planned every minute of every day and made a schedule, a rigorous schedule, and some days we were burnt out. I'm gonna just be honest. We were completely burnt out. We're leaving overscheduling behind. We do not need a co-op, library group, a weekly class, anything like that. We have our weekly, the kids go to boxing twice a week, so we have that, but I'm not gonna do all the co-ops and all the meetings and go to the library groups and stuff. If we wanna go to the library and we wanna have a day there, I don't want it to be rushed and we have to be there at a certain time. I just want to be able to go and enjoy, and the kids be able to enjoy and look for a book that they want to, or that they find interesting. The next thing is trying to mimic public school. So I brought my kids home. If you've watched my other video, my testimony, I brought my kids home because they were doing poorly in school. They were doing poorly, there was some bullying, there was all kinds of stuff. If you want, you can go watch that other video. But when I got home, I think I tried to mimic that public school pace, and I had to let go of feeling guilty and just be in the moment. Slow down. They will get it. And they did. My one that's going to be going into 6th grade, he was reading at a 3rd grade level, and now I've gotten him up to a 6th grade level. So we're doing great, and it just took patience. So feeling guilty when life gets lifey, unexpected caregiving, interruptions, and shared spaces here in this house. So I think that being able to slow down and take that time, I was able to not only stop stressing myself out, but stressing the kids out. That we had to be done by a certain time, or that you needed this many hours of math and this many hours of English and this many hours of science. And we were doing science every day. We were doing history every day. We were doing civics every day. And these are things that I'm leaving behind. Bye. Okay? All right, real talk. What I learned about myself this year. I don't need to do all the things to be a good homeschool mom. I said it. I don't need to do all the things to be a good homeschool mom. I thought I did. I thought that I was doing my kids a disservice if I didn't do all the things every day. So that has been something that I'm leaving behind. We are in a season that I have learned what I like and what I don't like, a rhythm for our day, and when I put too much pressure on myself, when I put too much pressure on the kids, things get tense, and I don't want to do that. So my kids learn more when I'm present, when I'm rested, rather than when I'm burnt out and following a schedule. Some days, so at the beginning of the school year, like I said, I had a rigorous schedule. It was this time we're going to do this time we're going to do that time we're going to do next, right? We're going to take a break. You only get a 15-minute break. I was literally following public school. I was public school. That's all I know. And my kids were burnt out. I was burnt out at trying to get them to do all of the things on time, on a schedule. And why? We didn't need to. So grace is a curriculum in itself. I'm giving myself grace. I'm giving the kids grace next year. That doesn't mean that we're going to slack off or not do anything. We will still have a rhythm. I just will not have that rigorous schedule, and I will not beat myself up, and I will not beat up my kids for not getting at that benchmark that public school is pushing on us. All right, looking ahead to next year. I'm planning for rhythms and not rigid routines and schedules. We just talked about that, right? I don't want to overstimulate. I don't want to overschedule. I want to be present with my kids. I want my kids to be present with me. Our relationships have gotten so much better when I started to learn this by the end of the year. It pains me to say that it started off rough, but we're there and they're liking it. So our last day was on Friday, May 16th, and I think it went pretty well. We did our evaluations and everything. So planning for rhythms, not rigid routines. The next thing that I'm looking forward to next year is involving the kids in choosing unit studies. So when I was looking at the curriculum for next year, I gave the kids a few choices of science units, and just things that they were interested in. My fifth grader going into sixth grade, he wanted to learn about marine biology, so we have a marine biology unit. The kids showed interest in nutrition and physical health, so we are going to be doing a unit study on physical health and nutrition. My fifth grader is very into exercising and nutrition and learning more about that. I think he's in a stage where he's going from being a kid to more being a preteen, and these are things that he's starting to realize that or starting to look at his body. So I don't ever want my kids to feel like I don't want them to ever have body image issues, and I love them for who they are and all of this. But I do still think that nutrition is a vital part of our society, and the things that we put in our mouth need to be things that sustain us and that are good for us. So I think that's a good one. The third unit study that we are going to be doing is mental health. And I thought that was a good follow-up for the physical body and nutrition, mostly because when your body feels good and your mental health is good, all around you feel good. And so I want my kids to sort of understand that even if you're physically feeling good and everything's good, sometimes your brain doesn't always do exactly what your body is feeling. And so I think those two go together and need to be sort of taught at the same time or simultaneously. So that's what we're gonna do. So we have marine biology, we have physical health and nutrition, mental health, and then my daughter and my son also were interested in engineering and building things. My fifth grader has voiced that he wants to be a mechanical engineer. I know sometimes it changes, so right now we are going to learn what we can about mechanical engineering, and my daughter thought that it would be a good thing because she likes to build and be creative and all of that as well. So those are the four main science units, and I think that encouraging them to choose their science units, I think they'll be more excited for next year for their curriculum. The next thing that I am excited for is creating more life learning or real life learning. So what that means for us is going outside, learning through play, learning through life, cooking, exercising, looking at nutrition labels, and instead of doing a lot of paperwork. Less paper, less clutter for me to clean up. So I think that more real life learning is a good thing that we should be looking forward to next year. All right, so those are some of the things that we are leaving behind next year and some of the things that we are bringing into the new year. So I just want to give some encouragement for any mama who is watching. If you are new to homeschooling, want to homeschool, or you are a long-time homeschooling mom, I just want you to know you did enough, you are enough. Summer is for rest, for you and your kids. I think that during the summer, kids need to play. Like I said, they learn through play and creativity. So take the summer off, enjoy. If this gave you a little hope for your homeschool journey, I'd love it if you subscribed and left a comment. about your biggest homeschool lesson this year. Don't forget to follow along. And as always, stay grounded, stay grateful, and don't believe everything that you scroll. Bye, guys.